It is Y105, Dubuque's #1 hit music station. My name is Steve Pulaski. My next guest was the runner-up on the first season of American Idol all the way back in 2002. Since then, he's released 2 studio albums, starred in Broadway productions, and presently works as a mentor and coach dedicated to helping performers, entertainers, and entrepreneurs achieve their dreams through the Elite Speakers Network program. He is Justin Guarini. How are you, Justin, and where do I catch you today?
My goodness, I'm doing just fine. That's a great introduction. And I'm actually in Las Vegas at a marketing conference and doing what I do in my entrepreneurial life. And I'm happy to be speaking with you this morning.
I really appreciate that, Justin. It might be a minute since people have heard what you've been up to and things like that. You've kind of pivoted in your career very sharply. Yeah. Talk about what you do now.
Well, I get to have the best of both worlds, really. I started, as said, in the entertainment space on American Idol, singing, dancing, touring all over the country, all over the world, studio albums, and then I moved into television there, hosting red carpets and live in studio shows. And then I got this little role on TV with this guy called Lil Sweet. For about 7 years, I was the Dr. Pepper character, Lil Sweet. So I spent so much time in entertainment, but then it just kind of, I had a family, and I started thinking, being an entertainer is awesome, and yet I'm always thinking about the next job. I'm always thinking about that next paycheck. I'm always just thinking about the next. How can I have a little bit more control over my career and literally my own cash flow, right? Because so much of entertainment depends on somebody else saying, hey, yes, we think you're qualified to have this job. Well, what about creating my own job? And so I started doing that. I started speaking on stages and keynoting for events like the Kennedy Center and PodX and all this really great stuff. And I was like, I really love this. I'm still getting to be on Broadway and doing my thing, but I'm also having other streams of revenue, speaking on stage and expanding my business that way. And then I met my now business partner, Kim Walsh-Phillips, who is just an absolute genius marketer, has made $1 billion online for her clients and worked with people like Kevin, Mr. Wonderful O'Leary, and just amazing individuals. And we just, long story short, decided to put our powers together, mine in the entertainment and the performance space and the stage and owning the stage and owning the camera, her with the marketing message and all the wonderful insight she has when it comes to actually selling from stage. And we decided to help entrepreneurs do that, to expand their businesses, to leverage celebrity and fame with also the ability to make offers and sell from stage. But the cool thing is, like I said, I still get to be in both worlds. Right now, I'm a voice for Disney's Super Kitties, just wrapped up a Broadway show last year. So I kind of have a foot in both worlds.
Justin, I want to give you the opportunity. Where can people find your work as a keynote speaker? Where can people find your entrepreneurial endeavors? What's a good website?
The best place to go is EliteSpeakersNetwork.com. EliteSpeakersNetwork.com. That is where you can see the whole battery of sweets and things that we offer, sweets and treats that we offer as a part of our program. It really is everything from just free if you're getting started and don't know what to do and just really want to get on the stage and speak and have a message to share, or if you have a business that is successful and maybe you're making anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million in revenue every single year and want more tailored services. And so it's just exciting to be able to offer that to people at every part of their journey.
He is Renaissance man Justin Guarini. Of course, we got to talk American Idol, Justin. But first things first, I've been wanting to ask you this question for 20 plus years, ever since I first saw you on that first season of American Idol. What is your hair care routine? It's time for you to spill the secrets.
You would not be the first person to ask me. And, is in a crowded marketplace like today, it is amazing to be able to have something that is like branded with you, follows you through your career. I mean, just ask Jennifer Aniston, right? And so for me, my hair care routine is surprisingly simple. It is just a little bit of mixed chicks and a hair dryer with a diffuser on it. Really simple. No big deal. Nice and easy. I am very fortunate though that my hair is not as long as it was on that show, because boy, oh boy, that was like having a 2-year-old sitting on top of your head. Wouldn't listen to you, constantly complaining and always in need. So now I have a much more easier haircut routine.
Had to get pretty warm under those stage lights too, I can imagine.
did. I was sweating. Yeah, I'll never forget when I was on tour. A lot of times towards the end of our show, after we had been singing and dancing for the better part of 90 minutes, there was a moment where I came out and I sang For Once in My Life, and I had this, I was running on the stage, and there was a riser where I had to like leap and run off of it, and my hair would be hanging in my face. And every night I'd be like, well, I hope I can see what I'm doing, because it would just flap down in front of my eyes as I would be running around. But yeah, I don't have to deal with that anymore, thank goodness.
I went back and listened to your first album, Justin Guarini, and I really enjoyed it. Listened to it a couple of weeks ago. The first season of American Idol ended in September 2002. Your debut album didn't drop until July the following year. What was the reason for that delay, Justin?
I think the thing about a first season is you're still figuring things out, right? And so the first season was such a huge success. And with any huge success, you immediately, and when you get the opportunity to repeat that, especially in television, you're immediately on to the next thing. And so with seasons 1 and 2 following so closely with one another, I think the big challenge was trying to strike that balance between making sure that Clay and Ruben and Kelly have their due, right? Because it was, of course, the most important thing was getting Kelly's album out first. And so I think it was just a matter of, hey, we're just trying to figure this out. And Kelly is the American Idol, so her album naturally would come out first. That would be a priority. And then, they worked with me on this album. It was a great experience. And then when it came time for me to promote it, they were also promoting Clay and Ruben. That was the time so it just kind of ended up being, I think, an issue of figuring it out as they went along. And it was not ideal, but at the end of the day, I was able to release a major album and tour around the country with it, and parlay that into 20 some odd years of success on the stage, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and now behind the scenes for other people who want to get on the stage.
You brought it up, too. There really was no blueprint for that first season of American Idol. You competed against R.J. Helton, Nikki McKibben, of course, Kelly Clarkson, who you mentioned. Talk about that entire experience, though. When you reflect on American Idol and you kind of being sort of the guinea pig, one of the guinea pigs that season, what was that experience like? How do you reflect on it, Justin?
When I look back on that first season and compare it to the absolute monolith that it is right now, I just feel so grateful because of the impact we were able to make in pop culture, first of all, because it just hit like a freight train in America at the time. 30 million people watching every single week. I mean, you can't get those kinds of numbers anymore. And then also the family aspect of it, not just between the contestants, because we were competitors, but we really did our best to take care of one another during that experience, because it was like being shot out of a cannon, and we all held on to one another for dear life as we were hurtling through space. And then also the family aspect of the company itself. American Idol has invited me back to be a mentor, has always reached out to me to be a part of promotions and other sort of things. And look, a lot of people have gone through American Idol, and yet a lot of people don't have that same sort of, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do things that I've been able to do over the years with them. So it just was an amazing experience because we all were making it up as we went along. I mean, everybody in the entire company, they had done Pop Idol before in the UK, yes, but the American market is completely different than any other market in the world. And so to be a part of that formulation of the blueprint was it was spectacular. And I really, truly believe that people still remember me to this day. They'll come up to me to this day and say, I voted for you. I saw your movie. I saw you on tour. I was inspired by this. I was inspired by that because I was on that first season. And I, along with all of my other friends who were competing that year, just got to make a huge impact.
When was the last time you talked to Kelly?
Last time I talked to her was when I was on her show. I think it was the second time I was on it. And I was like, we have to stop meeting like this. And she's like, yes, I know. This is literally the only time we get to see one another. And, you know, she has something she said to me backstage, I think really just encapsulates where she's at right now. You know, she has done it all in music and is a bona fide world-renowned superstar. And yet when she said to me, she's like, I really, speaking of the Kelly Clarkson show, I really feel like this is where I belong. It's just so amazing to see someone who has accomplished what she's accomplished in the music industry then move into a very challenging space of daytime television.
Sure.
And be so good at it and so respected and so loved that she was given Ellen's time slot. I mean, hello? Like, that's awesome. And so I just couldn't be more happy for her and proud of what she has, the path that she's carved out for herself.
When was the last time someone asked you about From Justin to Kelly?
I get that all the time, actually. I'll worry when people don't ask me about it. People come up to me all the time and say, we loved that movie. I just remember being a kid and sitting and watching it with my family. And that's another thing about American Idol. Whether you talk about From Justin to Kelly or all the things that we did with American Idol, especially the show itself, were things that you could sit down with your grandmother, your little kids, your aunt, whoever it was in your family. You could all gather around the television and you never had to worry about something inappropriate happening. You never had to worry about, like, say, having to explain something to your children that was an awkward moment or covering Nana's eyes. It was, and still is, a show where the whole family can gather around and root for the person that they want to hear on the radio, the person they want to see on the TV. And now that ABC has a hold of it, you're also talking about the people that you want to see in so many of the arms that Disney has, from, you know, just the terrestrial television to cartoons to the parks to so much of their stuff. And so it's just an awesome experience, and I count From Justin to Kelly among them.
You mentioned that you did some work on Broadway as well. What are some of the Broadway roles you're most proud of, Justin?
Well, I think I've been in 7 shows now, which is almost more than any other, all the American Idols combined that have been on stage. And so I take that as a point of pride, because Broadway is a place that I've always wanted to be get to. You know, theater was such a huge part of my life before, during, and after Idol. And so the roles that I've been in that people would recognize are Fiyero and Wicked. I'm really proud of that. That's like the big commercial role that I'm proud of. It's like the ones that maybe a lot of people don't know about. I was in the Broadway's first a cappella show, In Transit, and it was some of the best musicians on Broadway. I mean, vocalists and vocal musicians on Broadway, because it was a cappella. It was 12 of us out there on the stage singing some of the most crazy arrangements I've ever sang in music, and I've sang a lot over the years in terms of choral music and arrangements like that. Just some of the hardest stuff, and you're doing it 8 shows a week, and you're doing it with people who are just sweet out there on the stage, as many Broadway folks are. And then the other one, I think the last role that I played, which was Prince Charming in the Britney Spears musical Once Upon and One More Time. It was awesome because I just got to go back to that time almost in American Idol, because that time around American Idol was when Britney was really at quite a bit of the height of her career. And I remember meeting her then, and how sweet and kind she was, and just the general world that was 2002 and 2001, 2002. And it all brought it into 2023 at the time for me, because I was dancing like I had never danced before, singing like I had never sung before, acting like I had never had to act before, and having to push my body, my voice, my mind to limits I never thought I would have to on a Broadway stage, because our directors, Tioni and Mari Madrid, choreographed stuff for Justin Bieber, for Billie Eilish, like touring musicians. And the dancing is like super complicated and like high level stuff. And so I think I'm probably the most proud of that last role, because of the demands that it took on my body, and 8 shows a week doing it. I just was able to do it, and the cast was able to do it, and it was an amazing group of people singing amazing music, and really just giving the audience one heck of a show every single night.
You're a singer, actor, mentor, coach. Justin, do you have anything left on your bucket list to accomplish? Is there anything that you haven't done that you still want to do?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah, I've done a lot. I've done a lot in television. I think on stage, music, in radio. I mean, I've done a lot of really cool stuff. I think there's some film. There's some fun stuff in film, if not in front of the camera, which I have done that too. I think my next great adventure is going to be behind the camera in production. I really, really love the behind the scenes, and especially in entertainment. And this is kind of what I do with entrepreneurs who want to be speakers on stage, who want to get on camera. I love taking all the stuff that I know as a stage performer and as a entertainer in general on camera as well, and applying that to production and helping other people. And I don't know, as a producer, like if I were to produce a film, I think it's really important that I know what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. I think it's really important to know what I know about the actual production of directing and of directing photography and all that other stuff. And so, yeah, I think my next great adventure is going to be behind the scenes, which will be a lot less work and a lot more money, to be honest.
Justin, you are wonderful. I want to give you the final word to promote your social media, your outlets. Where can people find you? The floor is yours.
I appreciate you so much for this, and thanks for having me on. Hey, the best place you can find everything you need to know about me is pretty much anywhere on social media, Justin Guarini. So JustinGuarini. If you go to TikTok, there's an underscore between my first name and my last name, but beyond that, Justin Guarini is the place to find me. And just the last thing I'll say is, these past 22 years, I don't even know, has been an absolutely awesome ride. And for all of you who watched that first season, who voted on that first season, who have come to a Broadway show, who might have come to a show on tour or anything that I was doing, I would not be here without you. So thank you for this amazing ride. It is not even remotely close to being over, but I wouldn't be on it if it weren't for you. So thank you.
Justin, you are awesome. I greatly appreciate your time, and I wish you nothing but continued success. You absolutely deserve it, man.
Thanks. I appreciate you, brother. Be well.